President Joe Biden touched down in the Valley just about 30 minutes ago, landing at Sky Harbor International Airport. He was greeted there by Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays and our Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes.
Biden will be spending tonight in the Valley before heading to the Gila River Indian community on Friday. The president is expected to apologize for 150 years of the federal Indian boarding school program. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 6, I'm Kadiva Devine.
And I'm Troy Hayden in for Mark, who's off tonight. 12 News journalist William Pitts has been following the administration's actions on this for years, and he spoke to a boarding school survivor who questions whether or not the apology is enough.
Patty Talahongva has a list.
It is 516 pages long.
A big list.
You can just get lost in this list of all these names, all of these kids. There's a standing bird.
Of every kid who ever went to the Phoenix Indian School.
Pawnee, Maricopa, Sioux.
Including herself.
And then there's me and my sister Rosalie, and then my aunt Sarah Ann. People ask me, were you forced to go to Phoenix Indian? When your tribe does not have a junior high or a high school on its tribal lands, what's your choice?
The Indian boarding schools were a federal program that spent 150 years trying to strip the native out of the Native Americans. No native language, no native customs. Punishments were brutal, many times fatal. Those who survived, and that's what they're called, survivors, were part of a long line of trauma.
Kids who were taken when they were so young that by the time they graduated from Phoenix Indian, they didn't remember their families. How do you apologize for something like that?
On Friday, President Joe Biden will try. The White House says Biden will formally apologize for the federal Indian boarding schools at a school on the Gila River Indian community, the same school where the administration heard from other survivors.
I don't speak my language. I don't know my cultures.
They split her tongue for speaking out.
The administration says that listening tour across the country led to this apology.
They called, among other things, for a formal apology from the federal government. And President Biden will be in Arizona to do exactly that.
Here's Luther, Newman Luther.
There was a tradition at the Indian school.
Oh my God.
Carving your name onto the bricks, sometimes names the school didn't want you to have. Patty Talahongva's name is right there. But the president won't see it because the apology isn't taking place anywhere near the school.
I wish the president would come here to the sacred ground that is now Steele Indian School Park. I wish he would be here to make any announcement, because that really sends that message to all of the kids who came to this one boarding school, that he's apologizing.
For Patty, an apology isn't enough. She wants more action, enforcing Native American treaties, helping tribes overcome damage that was set in stone. William Pitts, 12 News.
Yeah, and one last thought on that Indian School Road, which you're probably aware of, that runs right there at the Indian School, and that's why it was named Indian School Road right there at Central.